Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a video I've never done before that I can remember. I'm going to be sharing my top 10 favorite brands from Sephora and my favorite product from each of those brands. This was actually inspired by another YouTuber that I recently discovered. Her name is Christy Healy. I will put her name up on the screen here and I'll link her channel below, but she did this video a few weeks ago and I saw it and I just thought it was a great idea. And I've never done a video like this. It was pretty easy to pick my top 10 brands from Sephora. It was not easy to pick my favorite product because pretty much all of these brands have a lot of great products that I love, so it was a little bit difficult to narrow it down, but I thought this would be fun and a little bit different, and with the Sephora sale going on, I figured this would be a great time to do this video. And if you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty and makeup content here on YouTube. I hope you'll subscribe and let's get started. All right, let's get started with brand number one. I have them written down here, so we'll just go in the order that I wrote them down. The first one is, of course, Patrick Ta Beauty. If you're not new, you know how I feel about Patrick Ta and his brand. I love so many Patrick Ta products, but this brand, I will say, was probably the easiest to pick a favorite for, just because these are I just love them, and you all probably know what they are. The Double Take Cream and Powder Blushes. I have 3 of them here. I think I have 7 total individuals, and then I have all of his holiday palettes with blushes in them. I'll share my favorite first, which is this one, which is She's That Girl. If you've been around my channel for a while, you will probably know this is my favorite blush. It's been in every single favorite Sephora type video that I've done. It's just perfection in my mind. It is the perfect pinky color with just a little bit of peach, and it's a warmer color. It's not super cool toned, but I don't know what it is. There's just something about this blush that I just love. I love the cream and the powder. It's not one of those situations where you like one of the products and not the other. I love the cream and the powder. His powders are very silky and they are pretty pigmented, but they're also easy to blend out. So if you apply too much, they're very easy to kind of go over with a sponge or your powder brush and kind of tone them down. If you're not familiar with his formula, you can apply them, and they're made to apply powder and then cream on top. You can also apply them the traditional way, but he does recommend applying powder first and then tapping over them with the cream, which is how I typically apply them. And it just kind of brings back the skin finish that you get from the cream. And I also find that they last really well on me, and I think it's because layering the two really does help kind of lock it in during the day. I also love this one. This is one of his new shades. It's very bright. It looks very scary. It's actually not. This is She's Giving. So it's just a really bright kind of fuchsia color with a bluer undertone. So more cool undertone. Much cooler than She's That Girl. I love this one as well. I also have She's Blushing. This is the one that I actually have on today. She's Blushing is a really great neutral rosy color, but it has a little bit of a nude tone to it too. I would say it's a true rosy nude. This one is so nice. This actually I can get away with wearing on its own without bronzer. It's that tone that works really well as bronzer and blush. So this is the one that I have on today. I love that you get the little flap to cover up the cream, and they're just fantastic. Whenever I'm doing my makeup for something in particular, like a special occasion, I will always choose a Patrick Ta blush, no matter what. And I have so many that I really have any color I could possibly need. So brand number one is Patrick Ta, and of course, I had to go with the blushes. Brand number 2 is Makeup by Mario, another brand that I love, and I have a ton of Makeup by Mario products. In fact, I want to say I've tried everything from Makeup by Mario. actually, now that I think about it. I love a lot of his products. So this was a little bit tricky. I kind of went back and forth between a few things, but ultimately I had to go with the Ethereal Eyes palette. This palette is one of my favorites. I mean, it's in my top 3 in my makeup collection. Honestly, probably in my top 2. I have loved this palette from the moment I tried it. This is me in a palette, honestly. This is the kind of overall tone and look that I love no matter what, really. I mean, everything I would ever want for any type of Blair eye look is in this palette. You get 3 glitter toppers in here. You get this shade, which is not really a glitter topper. It's a little bit more of a traditional shimmery metallic. This is actually what I have on my eyelids today. So the shimmer that you're seeing is all from this shade right here. And then I have a mixture of this brown right here and this gray in my crease and my outer corner. And those are the 3 shades that I primarily have on my eyes today. But this, the name is perfect. It is truly an ethereal eyeshadow palette. That is the look that you get from this. It's a very soft palette. You're not going to get a ton of intensity from these shadows, or you're not going to get anything super intense. You're not going to get any really intense eye looks with this. It's all going to be very soft and sparkly if you want that. A lot of people have been unhappy with the fallout from this palette, and yes, it does have fallout. These matte shades in here are very, very, very finely milled, and as soon as you put your brush in, you do get some kick up in the pan. Because of how well they work on the eyes and how well they blend and apply, that does not bother me at all. They are, I mean, they practically blend themselves when you put them on your eyes, and you can build them up. So they start out more sheer, but you can absolutely add more and get more color if that's what you're wanting. And then the glittery toppers, I do get some fallout with them. It does not personally bother me. Today I actually did my eyes first, just to see how much fallout I actually got. And I did have a little bit, so I just used a makeup wipe and cleaned it up. But I don't know, a lot of people are saying they get a lot of fallout. I don't find the fallout to be anything crazy, but that's just my opinion. And this palette is just an absolute love for me. I love everything about it. I've never done my eyes with this palette and not been so happy with how they turned out. So for Makeup by Mario, I had to go with the Ethereal Eyes palette, which you can now get at Sephora again, which is very exciting. I can't say enough good things. Number 3 has to be Nars. I love Nars. I feel like I've been talking about Nars products since the beginning of my channel, really. I just feel like Nars does pretty much everything well. Particularly complexion products like foundation, concealer, bronzers, blushes. I feel like that's what they do really, really well, but I do like Nars eyeshadow. I like Nars mascara. I like their lip products. I rarely try anything from Nars that I don't like, but this was easy to narrow down to 2 products. I had a really hard time picking between these 2, but I ultimately went with this because this, again, has been a long time favorite. This is always my go-to special occasion foundation, the light reflecting foundation. This is the foundation that I have on today. I wear the shade Deauville, and it just never disappoints me. It's long wearing, it's a solid medium coverage. I would say it's more of a natural finish in my opinion, especially if you prep your skin and don't use something overly glowy underneath and not something super matte. I feel like it's one that kind of takes on the finish of whatever you have underneath. And the other thing that I love about this is the weight. The weight of it is so thin that even if you do kind of build it up, you don't feel like you have a thick foundation on your face, but you still get really great coverage. For Nars, I had to go with this one. I was torn between that and the soft matte concealer from Nars, which if you know me in this channel, I also love that product, but I went with this because based on how much I reach for a product, this has got to be the one from Nars. So number 3 is Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. Number 4 has to be Charlotte Tilbury, which is one of my favorite brands. I fell in love with Charlotte Tilbury, I guess the first year I was on YouTube. That's kind of when I discovered her. Maybe actually a little bit before I even started my channel. I was just fascinated by her and her brand. Just everything about it was just the overall look, the makeup that she would do, and the products just, I don't know, they just speak to me. They still do, but I have a lot of her products. I've tried a lot of her products, and this was a difficult one for me to pick, and this choice might surprise you. And for Charlotte Tilbury, I had to go with this. This is the classic eye powder pencil in brown. Again, if you've been around my channel, you've seen me use this in hundreds of videos at this point. I use this all the time. 9 times out of 10, if you see me with a little baby wing, usually it's with this. I just don't have anything else like it. I don't know of another product from another brand that's exactly like this, but basically this is an eyeshadow just in a pencil. But I love it because it's softer than a traditional eyeliner in terms of how it looks. This is the chocolate brown color. They also make a shimmery brown and then a black as well. But I love that it looks soft, but because it is a powder, it's also very easy to use. It's easy to smudge. It's easy to fix if you mess it up. Sometimes even when you're not using a liquid liner, but you're using a traditional like gel eyeliner, sometimes they can be really hard to fix if you mess them up. Some formulas are obviously easier than others, but this is just like a foolproof eyeliner for me, and I have a lot of eyeliners. This is the one I use the most, hands down, and it still is to this day. I've had these, this is my second or my third of these, I can't remember, but this is just something I will always have. It's a staple in my makeup collection, and I love it. If you're looking for something just soft and easy to use on your eyes, maybe you're scared of eyeliner, you need this in your life. It is so nice. I use mine all the time. So I had to go with this, but you know, I have so many things from Charlotte Tilbury. Hollywood Flawless Filter, I love the Super Nudes palette, but ultimately the product that I know I will never be without and I use all the time has to be this, the classic eye powder pencil. Number 5 is actually Meritt. I really like Meritt as a brand. I like their whole aesthetic. I love just the very minimal, basic makeup. They don't do anything super crazy, but they make really high quality products. Even in the packaging of their products is very nice. I have a few things that I really love from them, but my favorite has to be this. This is the Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. I did use this today underneath my Nars foundation, and this is such a unique product. It's serum, so it kind of separates in the bottle, so you have to shake it up before you use it. But this is a serum oil that really doesn't feel oily on your face, but it does hydrate. It does kind of set and sink into your skin, and it leaves that really hydrated finish behind, but it doesn't feel heavy or oily on your skin. And it also doesn't have a smell, which that is huge. I feel like so many of these skin prep type products for, you know, makeup or just skincare in general now, it's kind of rare to find a ton of skincare with no fragrance. I feel like so many things nowadays have added fragrance in them, and you know, it's fine. That doesn't bother some people, but not everybody wants fragrance in a skincare product. And this, there is no smell. No smell. It's a beautiful bottle. You get a lot of product in here. I believe, I don't know, I'm guessing this is, oh, it's 1.7 fluid ounces. So you get a lot in here and you really don't need a lot. Like I use 2 pumps of this at the most. It says to use 2 to 3. Honestly, I typically use 1, 1.5, sometimes 2, but you really don't need very much at all. So this bottle should last you for a really long time. But if you are someone that struggles with dryness any time of the year, but especially in fall, winter, sometimes a lot of us just, our skin tends to get kind of dry, flaky, irritated in certain areas, that is a great product to apply before your makeup. I even put it under my eyes. I don't put a ton of it. You don't want to apply a ton of serum like that under your eyes, but you can take just a little bit on your ring finger, really tap it on, work it into your under eyes, and let it really sink in and set before you go in with anything else. And it is just the perfect base for makeup on your face or under your eyes. So I highly, highly recommend this product. It has a ton of great skincare ingredients as well. So my favorite from Meritt had to be the Great Skin Serum. Number 6 is Hourglass. I love Hourglass. I always get really excited when they release new products. They're not a brand that releases new things all the time, but when they do, I always get excited about them and I always want to try them. I feel like I've tried most things from the brand, and this was another difficult one. I kind of narrowed this down to 2 things again, and I kind of went back and forth, but I ultimately went with the concealer. This is the Airbrush Vanish concealer from Hourglass. I fell in love with this probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. I have a different shade now. I use mine up that I had before, but I love the shade Cedar. The shade Cedar is kind of a peachy undertone and it works really well under my eyes. It also works really well on my face. This is very similar to Natasha Denona High Glam, like very, very similar to that concealer. It's very pigmented, so the trick with this, and I always have to kind of remind myself of this when I use this, is if you use a lot of this and you do not prep your under eyes well, it can look heavy. It can look heavy and it can look dry. Every time I use this, I remember how much I love it. This is the concealer I have on today, and I used very little under my eyes. You'll see in the B-roll. That is how this looks the best. If you go in and really apply a heavy layer of this, it's heavy, it's a lot. So this works really well when you apply a very small amount. I also love their blushes. The blush in Sublime Flush was my second product that I also love, but this is just a really good concealer, and there are so many new ones out that I do like. I love the Natasha Denona, but I love this one too, and every time I bring it back out, I remember how much I love it and I want to keep using it. The one I have now and the one I use today is the shade Silk. It's a little bit more of a pink undertone, not as peachy as Cedar, but this is great as long as you don't overuse it. It gives great coverage. It's a pretty full coverage concealer, so if you're wanting something to really pack a punch in terms of coverage, this is a great one. Number 7 is Haus Labs. This, I was actually kind of shocked at first that I was putting this in my top 10, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized actually I have a lot from that brand and I really like all of it. But my favorite product for this one was pretty obvious, and this again may be a given for a lot of you, but it's of course the powder, the Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder. If you saw my Sephora recommendations video, this is the only powder that I recommended, and I feel like this is just so highly underrated. Nobody talks about how great this powder is. Everyone talks about Huda Beauty and the Givenchy powder, and those are great. I have both, but this is so good. This is so good. I think it comes in 4 different shades maybe. This is just the translucent one, but this is such a finely milled powder that actually does blur your skin, but it doesn't have color. And I know the pink powders are super popular and people love the the different color tones for under the eyes. But sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want just a really good translucent, no color powder. This is just the best. I use mine all the time. I reach for this over all of my other powders, even my Kosas powder, which I also love. This one is my favorite. Today I have it on in my T-zone, and then I did kind of go over my cheeks with this today before I went in with blush. But this is so good, and it truly does, when you use it, it does smooth and blur your skin. I am telling you, and you can see it immediately the minute you apply some of this. And it doesn't look heavy, it doesn't look powdery on your skin. One final thing I want to say about this that I just realized I didn't mention is it's talc free, which I know is super important to a lot of people, and it's also fragrance free. I love the Huda powder, but it is so highly fragranced. I don't know why they haven't made a fragrance free version of the loose powder. This has no smell either. So I'm telling you, this is highly underrated. If you're looking for a new powder, check out this one from House Lab. Number 8 is Dior. I love Dior, another brand that I feel like I haven't tried everything from them, but I've tried a lot, and I own a lot. But I have to say this pick was a pretty easy one for me. Another product, if you've been around, you've heard me talk about this before, but it's the Lip Maximizer glosses. I have 4 of them up here, and the one I have on today is just the 001 color, which is this one. It's just like a really light pink. But these are the perfect lip gloss to me. They do kind of plump your lips a little bit, but it's not painful. It's not like a stinging kind of plump, but you can feel a little bit of a plump when you apply them. They're not sticky, they're not heavy. They come in so many pretty colors. In fact, when they redid or reformulated Dior earlier this year, they released a ton of new shades, and my favorite one now, I actually don't have up here, but it's in my purse. It's number 38 Rose Nude, or Nude Rose, I can't remember. It's the perfect nude, a little bit of a mauve-y undertone. It is perfection. I use that one all the time. That's why it's in my purse. But I've been using these for years, and I love lip gloss. I am very much a lip gloss girl, so I've tried a lot of them, and I own a lot of lip gloss, but this is the one. This is the one. If I could only pick one in my whole collection, it would be my Dior lip glosses. I love them. They're shiny. I just love them. I love them. 001 I have on today. I also have the cherry one, which is really pretty. It's just a very sheer red. I have Nude Shimmer, which is more of like a brown with a little bit of a silvery shimmer in it. They're fantastic. I use them all the time. I always have one in my purse, and right now the Nude Rose is in there. So for number 8, I had to go with Dior, the Lip Maximizer glosses. Number 9 is Rare Beauty. Another brand that I get so excited, like everybody else, when Rare Beauty comes out with a new product. And again, I feel like I've tried almost everything from Rare Beauty, and I love a lot of their stuff. I kind of went back and forth on this one, but this might shock you a little bit. It's not a product that a ton of people talk about, but my favorite product is this. This is their Shape and Fill Brow Duo. I bought this, I guess it was earlier this year. I did a full face of Rare Beauty, and this was one of the products I did not own. I did not own a brow product from that brand. So I bought this, not really thinking much of it. I just thought I'd buy it because it was, at the time, their only brow product that they had. But I absolutely love this. So this is the shade Light Brown. You get 2 little pomades, or I think they're actually powder pomades in here. So you get a darker shade and a lighter shade, and you also get a brush in here that just pulls out with a little brush and a little spoolie. So you get everything that you need for your brows in this little product. I just think it's so smart, so different than other things that you see, and this is a product I reach for all the time. This is what I have in my brows today. I just love how soft my eyebrows look when I use something like this. I like pencils, but sometimes I want just that really soft, feathery looking eyebrow, and to me, you get that with a powder. And this is what I reach for when I want that. It's easy to use. It's very beginner friendly. So I would say if maybe you're new to doing your eyebrows and pencils kind of intimidate you, something like this is very user friendly. It's more of a powder, so you don't have to apply it and worry that you're gonna do too much and then you can't fix it. It's very easy to manipulate. You can add more if you need to add more. You can kind of blend it out with a spoolie if you get too much. It's a great product. And again, this is underrated from Rare Beauty in my opinion. I don't hear anyone talk about this. Obviously, everyone talks about the blushes. I have tons of the blushes and I love them. But in terms of what I reach for and just how easy and practical this is, I had to go with the Brow Duo. And finally, brand number 10 is Westman Atelier. This brand, I guess I fell in love with them early this year, maybe end of last year. Let's see, what did I get first? I got one of the blushes first, which I loved, but there's one product that just stands out to me that I use the most, and it has to be the Face Trace Contour Stick in Biscuit. I also have this in Truffle, which is a darker, warmer shade, but Biscuit is such a beautiful color. It is more on the cool toned side, but it's not a gray, ashy cool tone. It is cooler, so that's Biscuit right there. This is all I have on today in terms of bronzer. Other than blush, this is all I have on. I didn't add anything else. This color I can use honestly to bronze and also as kind of a contour on me because it is a little bit cooler toned, but it has a little bit of warmth to it as well. So the color of this is just perfection for my skin tone, and it is just easy. It's seamless to apply. My favorite way to apply it is get it on the back of my hand, really get it on there, and I use typically an angled, smaller face brush to apply it. Today I used the 109 from BK Beauty. I really worked it into the brush, and then I literally just stamp it on. It's not difficult to apply at all. You can kind of build it up if you really want more intensity, but it's also, or it can be very soft if you apply just a little bit of it. But to me, I love it because I get a little bit of that bronze and a little bit of the contour also. I don't contour in a traditional way often, but I always feel like when I apply this, if I apply it just slightly above my cheekbone, I do feel like I get kind of that contoured, lifted look. I love this so much. I have a mini. They recently, in the last year or so, came out with a bunch of minis. You can get Biscuit in a mini size. I don't know if you can get Truffle in a mini size or not, but I think the mini is $25 and I use mine all the time and I haven't even made a dent in it. I still have all of that product left over, so highly recommend checking this out during the Sephora sale. It's obviously a very expensive product. The brand in general is very expensive, but to me, this is the product that I think is 100% worth it. So those are my top 10 brands from Sephora and my favorite product from each if I absolutely had to choose. But like I said, I love a lot of products from all of these brands. So it's not the only product that I like from the brand, but these are my absolute absolute favorites. Thank you so much to Christy for inspiring this video. I definitely got this video idea from her, so I will leave her channel linked below. Make sure to go check her out. I will have all the products I talked about today linked below for you. I do use affiliate links, so if you shop through them, it does support this channel. So thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already. Follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1, and I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.